So let's get right into it. This is about what is the ego in A Course in Miracles. It's a really great, very confronting section. And I think that is why I want to do it. And I want to do it because we tend to try to avoid the sections that are confronting, or any teaching or teacher that might be a little bit, that might mirror our own darkness, because we're afraid to look within and see darkness. But what we are really afraid is to see the light that we are. And so first, we have to be willing to see things as they are, to look at our beliefs, and to look at what is it that we're identifying with. The first thing he says about what is the ego is that the ego is idolatry. We're idolizing our self, the story that you tell about yourself. You're idolizing the form the story takes, whether it's conflictual or not. You're idolizing the thoughts, the acts, the beliefs, the laws, the hopes that you identify with as a separate self, limited self. And so he says that the ego is a sign of a self that is separate and limited, born in a body. So you're matter, you're not energy, you're not eternal energy, you're matter, limited, doomed to what must suffer, and in something that is living but is supposed to die. The will of the ego believes that the will of God, of life, of creation, is its enemy. The ego is the proof that strength is weak. Check this out. That love is actually fearful, that life is really death, and that whatever opposes God is what is true. Whatever opposes life and and happiness, that is what is true. That is insane. So that's the next thing that he says. Sorry, it's shaking a little bit. So the next thing that he says is the ego is insanity. That in fear, it stands beyond the everywhere, right? Apart from all, separate from infinity. In fear, it's separate, it's afraid, right? It's in its insanity, it actually thinks that it has overcome God himself. And in this terrible autonomy, he believes, the ego believes, or it believes, that it has destroyed the will of God. And that is a little bit what you see when you look at this word. You just don't see a presence of a power greater from ourselves. We don't experience hope and peace, but we just feel like the will of God, the will of life has been destroyed. But that is what insanity is. And you're not insane. And so then it dreams, and it dreams of, of punishment, and it trembles at the figures in its dreams and at its enemies that seek to murder it before it can ensure its safety by attacking them first. Wow, right? Now, what he clarifies is that you are an extension of creation, and that you, as an extension of creation, are egoless. Are egoless. What could an extension of creation know about madness, about the death of God, the death of life, the death of the vibration of life, when you abide in Himself? What could the extension of creation know about suffering and sorrow when eternal joy abides in Him? Wow. What could you know about fear and punishment and sin and guilt and hatred and attack when surrounding you is eternal peace, forever undisturbed, conflict free, in deep silence and tranquility. To know reality, says A Course in Miracles, to know reality is to not see the ego, neither its thoughts, nor works, nor acts, neither you don't see its laws, its beliefs, its hopes, its fears, its plans for its own autonomy and salvation, neither the cost, the cost that it costs you to believe in it. And in suffering, and this is the part that is so good to look at, because the moment that you see it is the moment that you start paying attention, because you realize that you're sacrificing your own happiness. That in suffering, when you suffer, your faith in the ego, the price that you pay is a daily sacrificing of crucifying the Son of God upon the shrine, at the darkened shrine, he calls it. And blood must run upon the altar. Look at the image, right? Blood must run upon the altar where sickly figures come to die. And this is the thing that we need to look at, that every time we're not remembering our happiness, that every time that we're denying our freedom from the past, every time that we are consciously looking to get even, sometimes unconsciously too, right? Every time we are not willing to forgive, we sacrifice ourselves, the extension of creation, upon the altar of darkness. What an image. Wow. What an image. Anyway, yet, he says, one lily of forgiveness. Will one lily of forgiveness turn darkness into light? The altar to illusion transforms into the shrine to life itself. And peace is restored. Peace is restored forever upon the holy mind that God created as his extension. Forever his dwelling place. His love, his joy, his completeness, completely one with him. So, choose to let go. Choose to forgive. The choice for that is your awareness of the truth of what you are. You start being free. You start being free from the chains that hold you to the debt of having to constantly pay the price of your own suffering, with your own suffering. And you're doing it as a willing slave, right? So it's time to free yourself. It's time to let go. It's time to choose consciously to forgive, to let go, to choose to react differently to the same people, the same situations that come to you every day. Choose it. You will see that something else will begin to happen to you, and you'll be free. And you are free, and I'm with you. And I'll see you everywhere.